everything on paper. It was perfect. I planned this out. I was diligent and strategic. I had perfect grades. I had internships. And I was just so confused and I was so heartbroken and I was so disappointed in myself. What is going on? Why does it seem like I'm failing at everything that I'm doing?
It was the great Michael Scott who once said, "I work too hard, I care too much, and sometimes I can be too invested in my job." Tack on, "I'm doing my very best to obediently follow Jesus," and you've basically summed up our guest's approach to entering life after graduation. We're continuing our Oops series on reframing failure, and my friend and colleague Selah Magruder joins us again this week to tell us about the time she literally did everything right and obediently followed Jesus into life after graduation, and then experienced rejection after rejection after rejection. And it was here, when her very best couldn't get her where she needed to go, that she met Jesus in a new, powerful way. Welcome to After 4, your podcast for navigating life after graduation. I'm your host and guide, John Steele, and this one's for you, alumni. Selah, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you for having me again. This is so fun.
Yes, I love it. I hope that we have many, many more times together on this podcast, and I'm excited. I'm excited for today. Now, Selah, you've gotten to introduce yourself a few different times on previous podcasts. People can go back and get a little more insight. You're going to be sharing some unique details of your life today. We'll save the other typical intro stuff for another day, and people can get to know you just through the story you're going to tell. So just give us really briefly, like, where were you involved with InterVarsity and when did you graduate?
Yeah, I was at the University of Illinois, Chicago, InterVarsity chapter. I actually led a Filipino small group, which is
That's
really
awesome.
fun.
So
I am
cool.
not Filipino, but yeah, I was a part of InterVarsity then, and I graduated last May. So yeah, in 2025.
Okay, May of 25 or May of 24? May of 24. Okay, I was going to say, come on now.
Yeah, 2024. Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's great. May of 24. Perfect. Okay, that's super helpful. Selah, as I said, we're going to get to know you in some pretty unique ways here because of the series that we're in. We are in the midst of, or we're kicking off our new year with a series that's about failure. And not just telling stories of failure to like commiserate together. Like there is some element of that. It's just good to hear like, oh, it's not just me. But also, excuse me, I am like, you all have to bear with me. My voice is in shambles today. But to reframe failure and to say, yes, failure happens. Yes, things went wrong. But where are the places that we meet God in really powerful, or maybe just in really meaningful, like intimate ways? Like he was just there, and I felt that he was there in the midst of this thing going wrong. And so we want to tell stories like that yes, this happened, but God was also there. So Selah, I'm going to invite you just to take it away. You have a story of failure. Tell us that story.
Yes, and I'm really excited to talk about this one because it's very fresh. Yeah, it's very fresh. I graduated in 2024, like we talked about, and it's 2025, so it's only been a year. But I kind of want to just start off by saying, like, kind of giving a little disclaimer of like what kind of person I am and who this could relate to. And so I'm very type A, very like I want to plan things out and I want my life to be structured, which already you can probably see where God is taking the story to go.
I wonder.
Right? So I came into college knowing that I wanted to graduate a year early. So going through college in 3 years, I wanted to go to law school, and I just wanted my life to be secure and successful. Through going to law school, still loving the Lord in it, but I had plans for myself. I was ready and I was on track. So during that time, I felt the first year of college, I was very focused on my work, on my life, what I was going to do. I had planned out that every summer I was going to have an internship. I had them lined up. I was ready to go. Year one ends, internship number one goes through, and I feel drawn to the Lord again. The first year of college was very focused on me, on my plans, on my desires. And then that summer, God really started to pull on my heart that I wanted to be more like Him and I wanted to grow in His likeness. And I really wanted to just pursue Him a little bit more because I like that. I lacked it the first year of college. And so during that internship process and during that internship, I was able to grow that summer just so much in the Lord. And the second year of college came around, and I was just a little bit more confused about what my calling was, what God really wanted for me outside of my own plans, what God really wanted for me.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was thanks to the Urbana conference that I got to go to that year.
Nice.
That really, yeah, the topic was on like how do we serve the Lord in our calling and in our purpose, what our purpose is, and that really had me thinking about like, okay, God, like is law school what you want me to do? Is grad school what you want me to do? It's a desire of mine because it's what's secure, but is that really what you want? And so those were really scary questions that I was asking myself. But I was still really focused on the fact that like I had a plan for myself. I had things set out. And then my third year of college rolls around. And at this point I was like, okay, law school is not it. Derails my life completely. And so I was like, okay, if post grad is like not how you want me to like pursue like my career, then what is it? And so I just made sure like everything on paper was perfect so that I could land a secure job. Not
Okay.
school, but job. I was like, okay,
Yes.
God, like we're gonna get this down, we're gonna plan, we're gonna make sure we have everything. And then graduation rolls around. And at that point I had been in an internship with a management, like a condo managing company in Chicago, and it was not where I wanted to be. I knew that for sure. It was not with the best people. It was not the best environment. And I just remember praying constantly to the Lord, like, please, Lord, set your path for me. Like, set it straight because I don't understand. You've already like kind of rearranged these things. What's next? Because I don't want to be here. I don't want to be at this job.
Yeah. Wow.
And what happened was that I was at that job right after college. But that came after just like I went from interview after interview after job interview after job interview. And it was insane because everything on paper, again, was perfect. I planned this out. I was diligent and strategic. I had perfect grades. I had internships, like it was crazy. And I was just so confused and I was so heartbroken and I was so disappointed in myself of like, what is going on? Why am I not landing these jobs? Like I am qualified. My resume is perfect. It's great. I have so many recommendations from the internship that I did, from professors that I had done research with. Like I was so confused and I was just so honestly, I was really angry. I was like, what is going on? Why does it seem like I'm failing at everything that I'm doing? Like these if I get a job, it's a job that's like gonna require me to move somewhere else, or if it's the job that I really desire, I'm not getting it. And so it's just a season, a post grad of just longing for answers, being so disappointed in like why I wasn't achieving the things that I was wanting to achieve. And so I think that's the peak of my feelings of failure. And I think even now that's how that's what I go to when I feel like I failed. It makes me go back to that season of life where I felt as if everything was falling apart. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yes, that as you were sort of joking in the beginning of being very organized, very thoughtful, like I'm going to get all my ducks in a row so that everything works out exactly right. And that you even had some experiences that you're like, okay, I'm interested in law school, but it seems like that's not where the Lord's taking me. So you were even like, you were being obedient in like, okay, I'm not going to pursue that. And then you have this other job towards the end of school that you're like, this is not it. Like, this is not the path that I'm supposed to pursue. Okay, great. Then I'm going to keep looking in a different space, a different direction, because I want to pursue the direction that God has for me. And in the midst of all of that, of like acting in obedience and working hard and getting things all set up, you still end up in the space that you're like, this is wrong. I should not be here. And this is where I am.
Exactly. And
Oh,
it's
man.
just that struggle between like I know myself and I have planned these things and like I know what I'm good at, but nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And then the opposite of like I know what God has put in me and I know these like skills that I have and these desires that I have, but he's not meeting those or he's not directing me
Mm,
towards those, and that those feelings of frustration towards myself, and sometimes we could be real of our frustration towards God. Like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Selah, as you talk through that story, like there are element I think for people listening in who are not like emotionally tied to it, I want to ask a question that might feel obvious to you, but I think that helps shine even more light on it for the rest of us. And that's, what is it about that story in particular that feels like a failure to you? Like, what is, when you look back on that, you're like, this is why I would categorize this as a total failure.
I think that's a great question. I think I would categorize that as a great failure because it was what I put my identity in at that time.
Mm,
It was what I had my pride in was my achievement and my ability to learn when it comes to law school, like any school, honestly, like my ability to learn and my excitement to learn. Uh, and then also just my ability to like plan and organize and know and be strategic and just, yeah, like know what I want for myself. I think that, and especially like also security of like, I put so much of my identity and so much of my
yeah,
desires in the fact that I was going to be secure and this job or the school was going to give me the security that I desired.
yeah,
And because I was going to be the one that got myself there and I didn't, I felt as if that I had let myself down. I had been failing. And then also things were just going on.
yeah,
Just everything was going wrong because of that.
yeah. It's hard to not classify something as a failure when you feel like I put all the like gifts and abilities that God gave to me, I put them to work here. And even to the degree of like, as we said before, I was obedient in saying no to something that I felt really passionate about, but I felt like the Lord was steering me away from. It seems like obedience and hard work should be a perfect combination for like nailing like nailing life. It's
A
like,
kingdom check, like, oh
yes,
yes, God
exactly.
approved.
Exactly. And yet
Yeah.
we can still have these moments where it's like, and then everything still fell apart. And that can leave you sort of scratching your head and not just confused, but almost in a like, well, where were you, God? Like, I did everything right. I was obedient and I worked hard and I avoided the things that I knew were not going to be good for me. And still, here I am, like lost in the middle of nowhere, not knowing what I'm supposed to do next. What the heck? So then, now that you have a little bit of distance between you and that moment, did God show up? Like, can you see God now in that place, or do you see like, these are the ways that God was ordering my steps, and I just didn't realize it at the time? Yeah, where is it that God showed up in the midst of this story of failure?
It's both. It's both
Mm,
that, man, can I see God was working, and oh, he's still working and he's still
yeah.
guiding my steps. And oftentimes it is both. It's not like a clear, at least for my life. God is usually in the business of like doing a little bit of both. Um,
Sure.
and so now looking back, God wasn't necessarily like pushing me, but he was more like protecting me from,
Mm.
honestly, myself. He was protecting me from myself. And it's one of those things where it's like, I know for a fact that if God um, were to, which he does give us the desires of our hearts when it aligns with his, but if he was to give me everything that I wanted, he wouldn't have been in the process. He wouldn't have been in the picture. He wouldn't
Mm.
have been in the decision making process with me. And that's what he wanted to work on. I know that now, that if he was, if he would have just like said, oh yeah, she has a perfect resume, like go on with it. Any door that would have opened, I would have taken it. I wouldn't
Mm.
have had him. I wouldn't have had him in the process of it, and then I would have also still been in that cycle of, I'm going to get myself there, or I'm going to provide for myself, or the security that that my soul longs for, or my heart longs for, is going to be given to me by me, and that
Mm.
was the cycle. Hard work is amazing and it's great, but was it was a level of hard work that shouldn't, like, I shouldn't have had that much control over my life, because I don't.
Mm.
I'm like 12 years old. What do I know?
Yeah.
What do I know? I'm a 19, 20-year old um girl. Like, what do I know? But I know
Mm.
now that God was really challenging me to trust him, to give him more of the control, uh, to shape. He wanted to shape me and really form me to be someone who serves other people. Now I know that that is a huge desire of mine. That I want to
Mm.
serve people, and I want to use my gifts to really glorify Him. And if I were to, like, there are ways, and hopefully one day that God would allow me to also be like a lawyer, or some sort of, like, I wanted to do adoption law, and so, like, there are ways that we can serve the
Yeah.
Lord that way, and serve Him in whatever field that He puts us. Um, but at that time, He wanted my security to come from Him and not from myself, and that was the biggest lesson that He wanted to teach me, and it involved taking me out of the places that I was going to provide for myself. It required him taking me out of places and putting me into places where I really had to rely on him,
Yeah.
through either emotionally, through the work that uh, the internship that I was a part of that led into the full time, and then even now, working with InterVarsity, which I love, and I thank God for this role that he genuinely put me in a position where I was able to use my gifts of, like, organizing and being diligent and
Yeah.
learning, so much learning, but also doing it for other people, and
Mm.
giving me this glimpse of this joy that I get when I get to love on his people and serve the kingdom and honor people with my gifts and my joys. And so I can look back now and know and see that um, he was doing more internal work than external work, where I wanted the external work and abandoned the internal work.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, as you were sharing what you were learning and how you were experiencing God, I was like, it seems to me he was sort of making it clear you were wanting me to help you, like, cross bad ideas off the list so that you could only pursue, like, what were the best ideas for you. Like like you were sort of seeking him for help in this one particular area. And he's like, no, I want to form you, Selah. Like, I don't want to just help you make a decision. I want to form who you are and who you're becoming. And that this isn't just about your hard work. This is about the two of us partnering in your life together and navigating this next season, and not just this next season, but this is about me helping you understand that you need to see what it looks like to say yes to me for the rest of your life, and not just for this moment. And that, like, okay, there we go. We get you set on a good trajectory, and then Selah's got it from here. And it's like, no, he's saying, no, I want to be with you in every step of the journey.
Yeah, I could not have said it better myself. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well,
Definitely.
So then, Selah, as you think through this story that you've shared and the ways that you've experienced God, is there a final piece of advice or encouragement that you would give to your fellow alumni who are in the midst of experiencing failure, or who are like saying, man, when is it going to happen?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that I would give is what God gave me, which is Isaiah 43, which has been, I think, since graduation, just I've held it super close to my heart, which says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Do not perceive it." That's the first part that I want to focus on. Of like, God just wants us to see, like, don't you see that I'm doing a new thing? And then it goes on to say, I am making a way in the wilderness and a stream in the desert. That these things that we cannot comprehend, that he wants to do things that we can't even ask for or imagine. Bigger and better things for us that we don't perceive yet. But he really just wants us to trust him. And he wants you alumni to trust in him. Behold, he is doing a new thing. You can't perceive it, but he wants you to perceive it. He's like, I am making a way in the wilderness, a stream in the desert, something that is impossible. I am doing it. At this time, in this time of failure, or feeling like we're failing, we can't see anything except our ideas and our limited understanding. But now we'll be able to see that God is looking at the whole picture. He's looking at the whole picture, and he just wants to give you the best because he's a loving father. And so, just meditating on Isaiah 43, I think is the best gift that I can give alumni.
Let's be honest, alumni, if working hard, doing your best, and obediently following Jesus aren't enough to get you where you want to go in life, then what is? But that's the thing about failure. It can come in some really unexpected places, and it can hit us where our armor is thin and most vulnerable. Being told that your best isn't good enough, that really hurts. And it's easy to spiral when that happens, especially in unfamiliar territory like life after graduation. But what would it look like to lean into trust when that happens? And yes, I said when, not if. To grieve the loss and allow yourself to feel the sting of failure, but to trust that God is already doing a new thing. To trust that even if you don't see it yet, your feet are on a path that leads you through the wilderness, that there's a stream in the desert. You don't have to go searching for them. You don't have to convince God to make them. He is leading you on them and to them right now. Honestly, it probably won't relieve the pain of failure, but it absolutely reframes it with hope and anticipation and trust in a God who sees you and knows you and loves you. And rest assured that even if you can't see it yet, he is working things out for your good. Selah, thank you so much for joining us again and for sharing your story. It is always so much fun to have you. Alumni, be sure to come back next week when it's my turn to tell a story of failure. Selah's going to join us one more time as your host for the week, and I will be the guest sharing the story I've alluded to many, many times but haven't actually told. When I moved hundreds of miles away from home for love and then watched as it absolutely crashed and burned. Until then, consider sharing this episode with someone who needs to hear it, and I will see you in the after, alumni. Thanks for listening to After 4. This podcast is brought to you by the InterVarsity Alumni Relations Team, hosted and produced by John Steele, production assistance by Mike Santera, edited by Caleb Leppert, and our After 4 theme music was written and performed by John Steele.